welcome back to another 10-Minute Tuesday. Lately, these have just been like whatever we want, and we want to get back to doing some of these topics that you guys send to us. So this week, we're going to do something that was sent to us, right, Joey?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who sent it?
No.
Okay. If you're out there, thanks for sending this one. We're going to do, if you could, what time would you go back to go hunting, to go duck hunting? Is it duck hunting specifically?
Yeah, duck hunting,
duck
goose
and goose
waterfowl
hunting.
hunting. Yeah.
Is this like a one-day trip, or you get to spend like...
Let's
there's
just
not
say
that many
a
rules.
season. I don't know.
A season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. You want to go first?
Sure. No, this is a hard question for me just because I've always kind of felt like I was born in the wrong era. Just because when I see movies like Tombstone or just like any movie about the Wild West where it's just like the pioneer age is just so alluring to me. Just like,
You think you should have been born in the Wild West?
no, I see that and I'm like, wow, I really wish life was like that. There's just like essentially no rules.
More simple.
And everything was kind of mysterious and
You could kill
like-
a guy and not get in trouble for it.
like you could go to a town and there might only be like 25 people there. You know what I mean? Like
Chicago.
it's a fresh area and you were like one of the first settlers into that area.
And you're a doctor.
Right. And so that's like and you're a doctor, you're a snake oil salesman. But
Can you imagine how wild that time must have been, though?
Mm-hmm.
Just like somebody coming through town, they're like, I'm a doctor.
Elixirs,
And you're like,
elixirs.
oh, really? You're
Elixirs.
a doctor? What's your credentials? I said I am. Okay.
No, I think it'd be absolutely phenomenal to go waterfowl hunting in the very early 1900s because people say like the market gunning days, and that's such a big swath of time. I think that was like 40, 50 years, and then they stopped it around like 18 or 1920s, somewhere in there, in 1919. And so probably like very beginning of 1900 when there was all those duck clubs on the Chesapeake, or like even going down to the flooded timber of Arkansas at that time, like when they say the skies were black and you could legally bait the Chesapeake.
You
could just
said illegally
dump-
because it sounded so illegal. Like in your head, it was so illegal that you meant to say illegally, but
Right.
couldn't be.
No, I think it'd be unbelievable to go hunt in the early 1900s where you could go and bait, just put so much corn in a pond
So much corn.
that you, like, the Chesapeake Bay was said to have been yellow. Like, the shores of the Chesapeake Bay were yellow. And it's just like,
I do have a question about that.
Damn.
So this is what I've always thought about, right? Like back in those days when people could literally dump corn into a pond or something.
Yeah.
And no laws about it. Do you think that just became normal, though? Do you think that everybody was just doing that and then the ducks just didn't know what to do?
100%.
So it's almost just like not even an advantage at a certain point?
Well, it's like, think about it this way. Like, you can go fishing, right? And if you know a lure is probably going to catch more fish, you're going to use the lure.
Yeah, but then if the lake turns into every single guy using that lure, then do you think that the fish
You
stop
got to
eating it?
compete. You got to compete. I don't know. It was...
But
Obviously,
that's always my question.
It was obviously very effective. They almost made them
did
go
fine.
extinct.
No, they did fine. They did fine. I think that it's always interesting too, though, because, and if I just so we're on the same page, because I think there's enough to talk about. My answer was going to be 1910. Yeah, I mean, like when I think about wow, what was the glory years? I don't know why, but in my head, like Theodore Roosevelt with like 600 dead mallards is like pretty like in my head. And I know that he went to Africa in 1910, so, like, in my head, at least, 1910 seems like a good time to have been duck hunting.
Yeah.
That said, it's always, like, that weird question to me of, like, it's the same thing with spinners, right? Like, when spinners come out, it changes the game. Now everybody has spinners. Now I think there's people asking the question of, like, is it more effective to literally pull the spinners?
Well, yeah, that's different. They can't eat a spinner.
I know. I'm just saying, I'm just simply saying that if there was like 100 ponds, you know, in 100 square miles, and every dude was out there to shoot ducks, and they all had yellow corn in those ponds, I start to ask myself, like, do the ducks just not go to those ponds because every time they go, they get twerked on? Because that's not a natural thing. And so then, you know what I mean? It sort of like brings you back to that conversation of like spinners, right?
I think,
or like
when
Sean
it comes
Stahl
to survival.
Remember when Sean Stahl was here and he's like, I remember I got a trailer. and set these huge spreads, and people were like, what the hell? And now everybody's got a trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, it's almost like these cycles of.
Right. I think putting corn down, a little different. I think it's a little different, but I totally agree with what you're saying. Yeah, Carter, what about you?
Me, personally, I'd be like early 2000s.
That was my number 2, because I thought Cal would be on the same page as me. The invention of the spinner. Every time I hear stories about it.
I never got to like waterfowl hunt with my dad and like Josh and Matt. I thought going back to when they were in their heyday, that'd be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were killing a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's when I was growing up. I just remember us killing so many ducks, and they were so dumb. And if I think back, okay, I was born in 93, so I was 6 years old when the spinner came out. And that would make sense why all my memories as a young kid were just like dead ducks everywhere, dude. And I was like, wow, these are the best hunters in the world. And they are really good hunters, but is it just because the spinner had just come out, or there were more ducks back then?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like everybody had that spinner then. So, like, yeah, I mean.
There was a couple of years where not everybody had a spinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of years, probably.
But, like, that first year, I can't even imagine what it looked like. Just death.
Yeah.
So many dead ducks. Everyone probably thought they were just a G.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah, that'd be so badass.
Yeah.
Either of those times would have been lit. It would have been fun to see, like, your dad and his buddies in their heyday, too.
Yeah, like late 80s, early 90s, goose hunting in Lac qui Parle. Apparently it was just lights out.
It's so wild to me that I never actually duck hunted with you until we were 20 because, like, we were friends since we were 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a lot harder to bring a 6-year-old out with guns than a 20-year-old.
No, for sure. But I just mean, like, I literally went out with him with guns. Like, the guns weren't a thing. I was at the cabin with you a ton when we were, like, what, 10?
Yeah. We were just, like, shooting rabbits in the yard and shooting target. We shot a lot of targets.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we went out and shot coyotes and
yeah,
we killed a bunch of stuff with guns, so that wasn't really
the guns
problem.
wasn't the thing.
But it's more so like you need a lot of gear to duck hunt, and so to bring another kid.
Yeah.
And plus
you guys had the gear though.
Yeah.
Just didn't like you.
No, I didn't take it that way because I was literally with him 24/7. Like we were.
Yeah, but remember I got out of duck hunting when my dad stopped duck hunting, so I was like.
So that must have been like right around the time I started going to the cabin a lot.
Yeah. Yep. It took me like 5 years to get back into it.
Yeah.
Not even. It's probably like 3 or 4. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to this 10-Minute Tuesday. If you have a favorite era that you would have liked to have duck hunt, comment below.
Yeah, and send us some more 10-Minute Tuesday ideas.
Because these are really good.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.